So Acts chapter 4, starting in verse 23, says this. After they were released, meaning Peter and John, they had been arrested for preaching about Jesus. After they were released, they went to their own people, went back to the church, and they reported everything the chief priests and the elders had said to them. And we don't know exactly how that conversation went, but I kind of imagine it went like this. Oh, Peter and John, what happened? What did they say to you? Oh, well, they told us that we can't preach about Jesus anymore, right? They crucified Jesus. They don't believe that he rose from the dead, so they don't want us to talk about him anymore. They said if we did it, if we preached anymore, that they will punish us. It'd be worse than being sent to the principal's office. We'd be in big trouble. And I think the early church was like, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to stop preaching about Jesus? I think they would say, no, we're going to continue to preach about Jesus, but before we do anything else, we need to pray. That's the first thing we need. We need to pray. So verse 24, it says, when they heard this, they raised their voices and they began to pray. The first thing they did, in the midst of their trouble, when they're facing this persecution, what do? The first thing they do is pray. Right? Because the early church, they knew this, that there is more than you can do once you have prayed, but there is not more than you can do until you have prayed. Right? You look at your to-do list every single day. You look at that meeting that you're anxious about, that conversation that you've been dreading. There is more that you can do once you have prayed, but there is not more that you can do until you have prayed, until you've given your situation over to God and said, God, would you do what only you can do?